Everyone stop everything you're doing because we are coming to Europe on tour.
Yay! Trash Taste Europe Tour 2023 is happening. We hinted it in a previous episode, but now it is official. We are selling tickets right now. Click the link down in the description below.
Joey, where are we going?
I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you right now. August 30th, Dublin, Ireland. September the 2nd, Copenhagen, Denmark. September 4th, Amsterdam, Netherlands, which is already sold out, so thank you very much, guys. September the 5th, Stockholm, Sweden. September 6th, Oslo, Norway. September 7th, Berlin, Germany. September 9th, London, UK. And September the 11th, Cardiff, Wales. Woo! We are going to all of those locations right now. Tickets are available, but they're going fast. Click the links down in the description below. Do it.
I'll see you there.
A lot of people look at Shirobako as being like, this is a documentary.
A lot of it is real. When we're driving to pick up animators, we see other rival studios do stare at each other like this and like start revving the engine.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Trash Taste Podcast. I'm your host for today, Joey, and as always, I am with the boys.
Hello.
And rejoice, anime fans, because this is an anime episode. Because of the gentleman sitting next to me. Introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Yoshihiro Watanabe. I'm one of the producer for Trigun Stampede.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's so hype.
It's been a while since we had like an anime industry kind of guest on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think the last one was like Kevin Penkin, right?
Yeah.
He's amazing.
Yeah, so we've had a animator on, we've had a composer on, and now we have like an anime producer on as well. I hope I'm not missing anyone. Have I missed any other industries?
No, I think that's about it, yeah.
Anime voice actor.
Voice actor, yeah.
That's it.
We're like Thanos collecting.
Yeah, collecting all the industry people in anime. The reason why you might be wondering, Trash Taste, why did it take so long for you guys to finally get a producer on the show? Well, it's because a lot of them don't speak English.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of an English show.
Yes.
But luckily, Watanabe-san, were you born in LA or you just raised in LA?
I was born in Tokyo, but I grew up in LA. So.
Okay.
And you mentioned that you produced the new Trigun anime, Trigun Stampede, but you've done a lot more than that. You're also the producer for Beastars, right?
Yes.
So hype.
So how many shows have you worked on? Just like lay out your resume.
Like spit, list it down.
I'm genuinely curious.
I mean, as a producer, I work for Studio Orange. It's a CG-based company. But from there, it's my producer career started, sort of.
Right.
Beastars, I worked on the Godzilla Singular Point. Trigun Stampede. I worked on some shorts. Before Orange, I worked on some League of Legends commercials.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, let's go.
Connor's like, now you're talking.
Connor's awake. Yeah.
With like the really like intense 3D animated ones?
Yeah. There's one the really great, the hand-drawn animated ones.
Oh, okay.
Those were so sick.
Honestly,
they stopped doing them.
Yeah, before Arcane, that was like one of the best parts of League of Legends. I think
it was really fun working on it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been in the industry?
That's been 2006 when I graduated from college. Ever since then, yeah.
Oh, damn.
So I actually started from like a US studio, of US branch of Madhouse.
Okay.
Oh, they're working with Hollywood to adapt into live action at the time.
I didn't even know there was a US branch of Madhouse.
I'm learning that now as well.
Yeah, wow.
So, so like I've always been curious, right? You know, even as someone who, talks about a lot of anime, I've never truly understood what exactly the role of an anime producer is. So especially for our audience, do you want to explain what an anime producer does?
Okay. So it gets really extensive. So I'm going to make it simple. Anime producer is, if you don't have anyone, you're the only one to do everything.
Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, because it's like that with like, the producer is the kind of the guy who just ends up having to
fill in all the gaps, right?
The director obviously has his role and the actors are theirs, and producer's like kind of everything in between you kind of fall under doing.
Yes.
Okay.
So if I don't have a production assistant, I'm the one who's cleaning after everyone else's food trash and stuff.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. So pretty much everything.
My part of the job is finding the budget to hire people to do that. So basically creating a team. Yeah.
Finding the budget?
Yes.
What is that? That sounds like ominous.
I'm finding the budget.
Find the budget.
I mean, every two people to work.
Right. Yeah. So like you work with, Studio Orange right now, which, I would say I think is like the premier studio for 3D animation. I mean, Studio Orange has made shows like, Beastars, Trigun. Hoseki no Kuni as well, I believe,
yes.
as well. And I feel like Studio Orange is like leading the charge to like make sure that 3D animation gets a good rep, especially from anime.
Definitely.
How much exposure do you get from the fan base in terms of their preconceptions with 3D anime?
I know. I mean, it's a very great honor that a lot of fans consider this. That.
Yeah.
From our perspective, we actually feel a little bit more different. We're just using it as a tool,
Right.
because all our CEO is an animator.
Right.
And he wants to just fully express whatever he wants to. So we're just using that as a tool.
Okay.
So was there ever like a conscious choice of like, this is why we're using 3D? Or was it just kind of like, it just kind of made sense?
So to be, as a studio was founded by one animator.
Yeah.
He was working for a Jump manga artist as an assistant back then. He found Pixar, he found Toy Story, and he's finally got this, what do you call clarity that it's CG animation from now.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting, because I know like a lot of Japanese anime and the animation industry is based around 2D anime. So I think it's cool that, you know, there's been a lot of experimentation done with 3D animation in the past industry. And I feel like Studio Orange just ends up doing things a little bit differently.
Yeah, you guys kind of just like figured it out, I guess, is like the best way to put it. Like, because you know, there's been like, even if you go back to like early 2000s, right, there were not full 3D anime, but you know, definitely like a lot of 3D artists working on like backgrounds or like, you know, action sequences and stuff like that. But there were so many shows, in my opinion, where it was very obvious that this is 3D and then everything else is in 2D, right? But there's something about the work of Studio Orange where it almost blurs that line to the point where sometimes I'm watching it and I almost forget that it's actually 3D. If that makes sense. So it's like, do you think there's like some kind of a
what's your secret?
Yeah, what's the secret?
Tell us.
That's what we're trying to
like. What makes Studio Orange just like stand out so much in the field of 3D animation?
Actually, to any business partner, what I explain is that we're actually the hentai of anime industry. So hentai.
Hold on, I need you to elaborate. Wait,
please.
Like Queen
So
Bee?
hentai, as in sense of Japanese term hentai, so not the adult hentai anime.
like the weirdos, right? Yeah.
Okay.
So we're the psychopath, we're the maniacs. Yeah.
Right. So like what okay, there's so much I want to ask, but in terms of like, can you like elaborate on that? What do you do differently in terms of like everyone else right now in the industry, in your minds, that makes Studio Orange work stand out?
I mean, nowadays there's so many actually CG studios actually starting to rise.
Right.
I mean, Dragon Ball Super, amazing.
Yeah.
Slam Dunk, that's blew my mind.
Oh yeah.
I haven't seen that. Have you seen that yet?
I saw bits and pieces of it, but I haven't actually seen the full movie. It
Highly
looks,
recommend it.
I've only heard amazing things about it.
Okay. Because every time I see like 3D like anime, I'm not gonna lie, part of my brain is like, oh no.
Bro, I had that exact same reaction when I saw that Beastars was getting an anime, right? Because like compared to the manga, which is like, Itagaki Pato's style is very sketchy and like very rough, like clearly just like, you know, rough around the edges, but in the best way possible. And then when I heard that, Beastars is getting an anime, and as a manga fan, I was like, this is great. I fucking love Beastars. And then the moment I saw the trailer, I was like, there was a part of me that was like, oh no. It's in 3D. But then when I saw the Studio Orange name, I was like, okay.
Yeah.
You know what? There's a chance that'll be good. And thankfully, fucking amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
I think it is really that we're literally focused on what is the essence of that.
Right.
So Beastars, the drawing is really fantastic, but there's to recreate that in CG, it's possible. But CG, there's a lot of tools that you need, so it's going to cost a lot of money to recreate that.
Yeah.
So what is the essence? What can we pick out to the essence, and whatever that's possible within our realm right now to adapt it? I think that's what we're really great at.
I'm curious. Do you think, in your opinion, is 3D animation harder than 2D animation, or is it just that they have different strengths rather than one being harder than the other?
They definitely have different strengths.
Right.
Hand drawn, I mean, if you have a pencil and paper, you just start.
Yeah.
With whatever skill you have and imagination.
Yeah.
3D, you have to have a tool. So it's all based on formulas and numbers and stuff.
Right. Because I feel like a lot of the preconception, especially with a lot of, people who watch anime, is that, we've seen, I guess, the evolution of the use of 3D in anime. And a lot of the times it always felt like 3D was used maybe it's as like a tool that meant, you had to put less work in rather than
cut costs, right?
Yeah, to cut costs and to cut production time and stuff like that. But I think one thing that really sets Studio Orange apart is that instead of using it as like kind of like a cost cutting technique, you kind of like use the tool to its fullest potential, which we see with a lot of your work. And I was wondering, did that philosophy like come right at the get-go, or was it just, your CEO being like, I want to do 3D. This is the way forward.
I mean, it started out with that I want to do 3D. So his professional work, I don't know a lot of people who watches this, but there's a show called Zoids.
I remember that.
Banger show.
Oh my god.
Banger show.
Yeah.
I've
Hell
not
yeah.
seen Zoids.
It's awesome.
It's one of the first commercials. So it's basically it's reboot of Japanese anime. You know the reboot show?
No, I didn't.
It was on British TV at a point, like ITV.
Oh, with that one?
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
They
the
made it
it's,
an anime?
Yeah.
No. I mean, in US cartoon, we had reboot as existence. In Japan, Zoids was equivalent to a reboot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, got it.
I'm curious, what is your opinion of the evolution of like the use of 3D in anime from like the past like decade or so? Because we see it quite a lot more often now.
Evolution. That's a hard question. I think really what Japan needed was the budget time to really grow.
Right.
I mean, Hollywood had digits different of budget time to invest on.
Yeah.
And everything was in English, so CG software was all primarily English.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Japan needed to adapt to that, so we started off later than the.
You got to learn the
standard
English first before you can even start modeling, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, our CEO bought this $30K software back then,
Right.
And the manual was all English, so he's like doing dictionary and stuff.
Oh, shit.
Oh my god.
Okay, yeah, that'll take a while.
Yeah, because I remember like going back to like growing up in anime in like the mid 2000s. I remember like, was it like Studio Gonzo or something that used a lot of 3D?
Also Go Hands as well.
Oh, Go Hands as well.
Go
Yeah,
Hands.
Gonzo did like Gantz.
Yep.
They did Gankutsuo as well. And they had like the 3D back then was, let's say, very different from what it looks like now. And just seeing the progression of 3D, people will still always complain about 3D, but I feel like now is getting to the point where it's becoming a lot less noticeable.
Yeah.
Which I think is the big thing. Would you say a lot of that is just the industry kind of like learning the software properly and seeing how it's like, knowing how to use it properly?
Yeah, I think overall and throughout the entire industry, it's starting to reach that point, the breaking point,
Right.
that everything is starting to evolve.
Right. What do you think is like the secret, like to making something to integrating 3D into anime? Because I feel like Studio Orange do it the best. So
Yeah. Like, again, it was that, like, as I was saying with Beastars, it's like, it's 3D, but there's a feeling, and I don't know if it's like the movement or the coloring, the shading, whatever it might be, that just makes it makes you forget it's 3D. And I think that's the best 3D in anime, where it's like, there isn't this like weird thought in the back of your head of, I'm watching a 3D anime.
Yeah.
I'm just watching a good anime, right?
60 FPS, isn't it?
60 FPS anime.
60 FPS.
Who would have thought?
I better get a bro graphics card.
Yeah, right.
I'm curious, how did you, because you mentioned the Madhouse thing, but how did you even get started in getting to anything? Like, because we're coming out here talking about 3D, but I don't even like know anything about, I guess, your background or how.
Yeah, how do you get started in the anime industry to the point where you can rise to a producer level?
Actually, I started in the weird position. So I was just fooling around in LA, and I actually volunteered for Anime Expo as an interpreter.
Oh, wow.
Oh, seriously?
And
Okay.
I met the producer Mario Masao, the founder of Madhouse then. And he's like,
oh my God.
I was actually supposed to, after college, go to Sega.
Yeah.
But he's like, we're starting a studio here. You should join us. I'm like,
Wait, how did that?
yeah.
Wait, hold on. I
I feel like you're glossing over still a lot of. No one's just like, hey man,
Yeah,
cool that interpreting you did come out. Like,
yeah, we get people at conventions being like, yeah, I really want to work for Trash Taste. We're not just going to be like, well, come on in. Like, you know, it's not that easy, right? So it's like,
was it that easy?
Or was it that easy?
No. I mean, Maruyama has a really keen eye on like looking at people.
Right.
Like he grew up his entire career after Tezuka Osamu. And that level of mastery creates a lot of crazy people, and they really have keen eyes.
Yeah. How long did you live in LA?
I mean, I grew up in LA, so from 6 to after college.
Oh damn.
Oh wow. Okay.
So he's like, hey, come work for me. Move to Tokyo, and you're just like, all right.
Well, it was actually the first to come to the LA office.
Oh right, of course. Yeah.
So I started working at the LA office. A month later, he calls me up. You should move to Tokyo. I'm like, okay, that sounds really exciting. When do I do this? Next week? I'm like,
no. He gave you 1 week.
Oh my god.
Was there like a project that desperately needed you?
No.
He's just like, fuck
I'm just gonna fuck with this kid right now.
Yeah, maybe he's like, he won't do it. Guys,
he's testing my determination.
Yeah, the real ones will do it.
This only happens in Japan. Like this is like a Japanese mindset of like we have to test the determination.
Yeah,
we have to test their willingness.
He's like Yoda of anime industry. If you watch Shirobako, you know Marukawa Masato. He's basically Maruyama Masao. So
Okay.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that.
He founded a studio Mappa
Yes.
as well.
Well, Mappa seems to just do everything now.
Yeah. Mappa seems to be getting every IP under the sun.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then that's pretty.
So what job were you doing at Madhouse?
So I started out as assistant producer for the live action part of the process.
Right.
So then there was a project that we're working with Japan. The Wachowskis were actually producers at the time.
Matrix?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
So they were wanted a show with Madhouse. So that's
I heard
why.
about this.
Damn. Okay. I didn't know this.
We're not talking about Animatrix, right?
No.
That's something else.
After that, there was a comic they produced called Shaolin Cowboy.
Okay.
By Jeff Darrow, and they wanted to adapt that into anime.
Oh wow.
Then I flew over to Japan. So
Did I ever get released? Because
yeah.
I was like,
That sounds sick.
feel like I would have heard.
That would have been
about this.
amazing.
Yeah.
I'm curious then, like how many projects end up getting cancelled then? Because that's obviously like one that.
Like what's the ratio to?
Yeah.
I mean, there wasn't in anime industry. There's not too many projects that can't get canceled after it launches.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, mine was a rare case.
Right,
It was
right,
an international production. Hollywood's involved, and
a lot of moving parts.
of the what do you call it? The bank wasn't uneasy at the time. So
Right.
I'm curious. So you said you just turned up in Japan. Did he tell you what you were going to do a week later in Japan, or was it just like, we'll figure it out? So you just turned up?
He wanted me to be the line producer for this show.
Oh,
I'm like,
okay.
how am I going to be a line producer without any kind of experience?
What is a line producer, out of curiosity?
So line producer is you manage entire production under a producer to
So
make
basically,
everything work.
you're the producer.
Yeah.
Jesus
So the
Christ.
producer tells you what to do, and then you guys you do it. Man, the other guy sounds like he's got the way better job.
Yeah. So I mean, and then he says that, but it's not that he means it. So
God, I swear every industry guest we've had on has had like the weirdest
Yeah,
journey. Because
You're talking about it so nonchalantly as
Yeah.
well. This is why I'm confused. So you get here and he's like, be a line producer. Are you like, sure? Or is it kind of like, oh, okay, I mean, okay.
no, man, I have no fucking clue how am I going to do that.
But you still said yes?
yeah.
Yes. I mean, I'm giving you a chance.
You have to say yes. Obviously, I know
Yeah.
that. But you're like, all right, oh, okay. and then I guess I assume that they must have been happy with your work because they kept giving you work.
No, so actually,
Oh, God. Oh, no.
my career at Madhouse was a wreck because I actually didn't understand what kind of determination was required to be in anime production.
Right.
So I actually call myself as a piece of shit back then. So
And now look where you are. Started from the bottom. Now we're here.
yeah. I mean, all the team, the friends that I made back then, that's actually now at Orange. So my fellow producer is originally from Madhouse. Two of them.
So what's the timeline looking like? So you moved to Japan. How long is it then from being involved with this show and being a line producer to then kind of getting the opportunity to work with Studio Orange? Like, what's that timeline like?
So I graduated college 2006. I went into Madhouse then. So 2012, I left Madhouse.
Right.
I actually kind of got depressed with the state of the industry, and I kind of left the industry.
Yeah.
And went into venture companies, and that was a whole new mistake.
Oh god! Oh god!
I experienced 2 venture companies, and it was 2 of them exploded. So
Oh jeez.
I'm tired of these crappy businesses. I'm gonna go venture capital.
And then you went from venture capital back into anime.
yes,
then, I guess.
someone who I knew at PA Works.
Right.
Was very kind enough to say that my perspective is very interesting. So why don't you work for us? So I spent a couple years there, and then went to Orange.
Okay.
PA Works. What have they
That's a studio. They've produced
Shirobako, Hanasaku Iroha,
Eccentric Family.
Nagi no Asukara.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't know shit. Studios don't mean anything to me. I'm like bones. I'm more like boneless. I don't know what you're talking about.
So I'm curious, what anime did you grow up with? What are some of your favorite anime that I guess?
Yeah, what was the anime that I guess inspired you to go into that field, right?
I mean, definitely Slayers.
Wow, banger.
Trigun, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah.
Hellsing.
Right.
Yeah.
That was great.
Oh, those are some old.
That's
classics,
3 bangers right there.
Yeah. So you said you're a fan of Trigun. How was it like getting the job to readapt Trigun?
So I was actually never expecting to work on Trigun. So I was actually I came in later into the project. So my partner and friend, producer Waki, was the one who founded the project,
right,
and started. But first, when I opened the book, I mean, I was like everyone else. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing?
It's like, don't touch a classic, please.
Yeah, there must have been some kind of trepidation there where you hear like you're readapting it. Like the anime was pretty good. Like, was there kind of like a bit of like, I don't know if this is gonna work.
I mean, the more information I knew about the entire picture, I was more comfortable with it.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, as a first project, how it started was that it was the producers went Naito, the original creator of Trigun himself, and saying that we want to make Trigun.
Yeah.
But Naito was like, well, I would love you guys to expand on it, not adapt it again.
Right.
Yeah. Because it's already been adapted.
Yeah.
What was like the philosophy when it came to readapting a show that a lot of people held dear to their hearts? Because there must have been a lot of pressure on you guys to get this right.
I mean, we're all from, even the director himself, we have kind of linked lineage to Trigun.
Okay.
So the director's master was the Trigun's director. The original Trigun.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So we all of us have very special feelings to the 98 Trigun.
Yeah.
It's like, I will overpass you, master. Look at me.
Yes, as an ambition, we definitely had that.
Oh, yeah, for
But
sure.
as a work, we never had intention to rewrite everyone's precious memories. But to work along with it. So.
Oh, I mean, it was very different from the original as well in a lot of aspects, I think. So I think it was really good.
It was very different, but I feel like it was in a good way, because I've seen enough remakes that just try to redo everything like step by step in like modern animation, and I really appreciated that you guys went a completely different direction. While I think keeping the core of Trigun.
Yeah, you kept the vibe for sure.
Anime has had a bit more success with remakes in general than other mediums. I mean, like Hunter x Hunter and Full Metal Alchemist. But I mean, when you compare it to like how then recently they announced that they're remaking Moana in live action.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever think, man, as a producer or a creator, is there ever a concern where you're like, is there ever going to be too many remakes, or are we going to be making too many of these? Like, I always just wonder about that when you're working on a remake. You're like, is this a good idea? I don't know.
Yeah. I feel anime doesn't have as much of a problem that like Hollywood remakes have been going through, especially like Disney remakes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just because I think we've learnt from the past that, sometimes the remakes aren't really worth it.
Yeah.
And I feel like the most successful remakes are the ones where, at least in the anime world, are the ones where it took the original vibe and the concept and just gave us something completely different, right? Like the reason why like the Fruits Basket remake was so successful is because it did exactly that. It took kind of an incomplete story from the anime and just kind of took all of the parts that were wrong with it and just improved upon it without changing the vibe. And it ended up being an amazing remake.
I mean, I feel like Full Metal Brotherhood.
Full Metal Brotherhood?
Full Metal
Alchemist.
I've watched Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, clearly.
Full Metal Brother.
I've seen Full Metal Brotherhood.
Full Metal Brother Alchemist. Yeah, I feel like after that, just like there was a whole wave of just like,
Hunter was like, the remake is so good.
Oh, yeah.
JoJo's technically a remake.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
And a remake.
Okay, I want to know, without obviously spoiling anything that you're working on now, what goes into the decision making of what gets a season 2 and what doesn't get a season 2? As an anime producer, you probably have the most perspective about this.
I mean, we get a lot of requests to make season 2, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, first we have to give in the choice to make season 2.
Okay.
I mean, we have clients.
Yeah.
So is the client going to give us a choice to make season 2?
Right.
I mean, so far, once we're given a choice, we always said yes so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
But other projects we haven't done is that we don't have the choice to say it yet.
Right.
I mean, maybe one day it'll come by, but
yeah, because it's always so weird as an anime viewer. You see some of the things that are on like their 5th season, and then some fan favorite shows never go past like season 1, and I'm like, this makes no sense to me.
AKA Date A Live and No Game No Life.
Is that just because the framework of how an anime gets made is just so complex with a lot of parties that get a say in if it does or doesn't happen? Is that the reason why?
I mean, the business model is a very similar way, but the people involved are all different.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say what's happening. I mean, it could be the original creator, it could be how the business the producers are, or it could be the studio, or there's complete other reasons.
So the anime studio only gets involved after everything else has already been approved, or does Studio Orange get to be at the seat when shows are being pitched for like not even like a season 2, but just to be made in the first
like, do you
place?
guys get to like negotiate being like, we personally really want to see a season 2 of this, what do you think, kind of thing?
It depends on project to project. Orange, because we're CG based, we have a lot of limitations. So like shows involves 100 characters, we can't do it because that means equals a lot of budget.
Right.
The business model currently doesn't support that kind of budget, so there's no way we can get that budget.
So why does increasing the characters increase the budget?
So to make one character, it involves making a CG model, which costs a lot of money. So making hundreds of that equals times that.
Oh, okay.
And that's why you end up with the CG crowds where all the characters just are the same model because it's a lot cheaper, right?
And same movement as well.
Yeah, same movement. Yeah, exactly.
As well.
But by that logic, when we see some 3D in anime, in 2D anime, surely it would be more expensive than to produce a model and then animate that model just for like one scene in anime? Or is there some kind of cost-cutting method that makes more sense for that?
So in our case, I can't speak for others.
Right. Yeah.
But in Orange's case, that's why we use still hand-drawn characters as well. So in Beastars, if you notice, there's a lot of hand-drawn characters.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
One scene only characters.
Right.
Okay. That's I mean, how much do you put into like, let's say you're given a series, right? And you still want to like hand draw some scenes. How do you choose which scenes you want to like hand draw versus which scenes you want to like keep completely in 3D?
It totally depends on what can we do in 3D.
Right.
So if the 3D is going to explode into 3,000 pieces, then in that case, our VFX team is very excellent. So they'll say they could do it.
Okay.
But if it's going to, let's say, split into 100 characters, then our animation team says that we can't do that.
Oh, okay. So how big is your team in terms of like your, let's say, 2D animation kind of like specialty?
We currently have about over 100 employees. So
Ah.
every year we have about 20 employees trying to extend the studio.
Right.
But we think that's the limit of how we could train people.
Right.
Okay. And I guess like I guess I'd like to know more about, you have your own like journey into the anime industry, but if say someone's watching this right now and they were interested into getting into the anime industry, maybe as like a producer or any other kind of role, what is like, now that you've been here for like 10 odd years, what's your like advice to people who actually want to get into the animation industry?
It totally depends what you want to do in this industry. If you want to be an animator, then just start drawing, and then if you haven't drawn, start drawing, just apply to any studio. I mean,
Right.
We have a lot of shortages in this industry, so I can't speak for other studios, so I can't say for their working condition. But I mean, please find a good working condition partner to work with.
Okay.
This episode is sponsored by Bokksu. Bokksu delivers the experience of tasting authentic Japanese snacks, candies, and teas sourced directly from centuries-old small family businesses right to your door. Their mission is to empower Japan's traditional snack makers by sharing their authentic food and stories with the world.
Thanks to Bokksu, me and the boys eat good every single month. Every month they send us a new box, and this month's theme is Birthday Best.
Happy birthday, Bokksu!
And to celebrate Bokksu's birthday, in this Bokksu, you will get the best of, the classics, the favorites from the fans of Bokksu, all in one great box.
Stop talking,
And
I
I can
want
know
to
it.
eat.
I've already seen this. I've eat this every time it's in a Bokksu. It's the white strawberries, baby. I love these.
What are you going for, Jerry? What do you got there?
Well, I've got the tea pairing that they have, and this one is Sakura Matcha Latte.
Banger.
Hell yeah.
Banger.
Connor, pick one. Pick one.
All right.
Pick one, Connor.
I mean, they're all great, obviously.
I shouldn't. I have the yuzu pepper senbei. Oh, that already looks beautiful.
Oh, that looks so tasty.
Do you taste the yuzu? Do you taste the pepper?
Yes, delicious.
So if you want to try some snacks with us and support this channel in the process, then click the link in the description and use code TRASHTASTE to get $15 off your first Bokksu
Connor,
order.
stop eating. I'm getting more hungry. I
Sorry,
can smell
it's
that
just
from
so-
here,
it's so
man.
good,
I
I
can
can't.
smell that from here.
What do you mean to do, man? It's so good.
Thank you to Bokksu for sponsoring this episode. This episode is sponsored by Harry's.
Boys, are you taking care of how you look?
I try.
I try.
Do you not want the quickest and easiest way to take care of yourselves? We all got
do.
some beards, right?
Of course.
Well, thanks to Harry's, we have to worry no more.
Yay!
Whether your ritual is minimal or elevated, level up your shave game with Harry's sleekest razor yet. Their innovative design delivers the same great shave you expect with German-engineered blades that glide across your skin. Experience the latest and greatest in Harry's razor lineup delivered straight to your door for just $10 at harrys.com/trash-taste.
I've been a Harry's sim for as long as I can remember. The first time I picked up one of their blades, I knew that I was in for something special. The fact that I can keep the same blade for many shaves without it dulling, and it still feels as good as the first time I used it, that's when I knew. Harry's was for me.
But Connor, did you also know that you can schedule replacement blade delivery whenever you need them with refills as low as $2?
I did know.
So elevate your shave with the latest and greatest in Harry's razor handle lineup today. Do it. Get your $17 craft handle starter set for just $10 at harrys.com/trash-taste. That's harrys.com/trash-taste.
It just doesn't make sense. They can't make money.
Thank you to Harry's for sponsoring this episode. Back to the show.
I guess I want to bring things back to Trigun because that was I just finished watching that like 3 weeks ago.
I finished watching it yesterday.
Thank you.
And
So it's fresh in my mind.
oh, it was insane. You mentioned that the author had a big hand in the production of this. Is that normal for like anime adaptations? Or is that more
not
like a
normally.
rarity?
I mean, normally the author is focused on drawing their manga.
Right.
So everyone involved want to have that author keep on doing that.
Yeah.
So they might just review certain key points of the production.
Right.
And even in Trigun Team, actually, Naito didn't review every single details,
Right.
but he reviewed the core part that really mattered.
Right. What is that core part?
So to drink and party hard, to understand each other as much as possible at the start of before starting anything.
You have to go out
So-
drinking and eating together?
Yeah. So basically talking about what movies do you like, what kind of designs do you like.
Oh, wow.
Basically, the whole entire question was, who are you?
Yeah.
And what did you mean to design this? Was the entire question of having.
So
Trigun
kind of
Team.
getting into the psyche of the author, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's a pretty cool method, actually. Rather than like doing a boring business meeting of being like, all right, so can you check to make sure that Vasha's character design and everything and the things he says is cool? Then rather than just being like, beer? Yeah, that character likes beer as well. You know, when I was drunk as shit and I was writing this character, this is how I felt. Yeah. I think that's a great way of doing it because it's like, obviously, you want to be able to get into the head of the original creator as much as possible to make sure that you don't have to keep like going back and forth with them, right? To be like, is this correct? Is this correct? So, I mean, like, how long is that process usually? Like, when the ball gets rolling, it's like, okay, we're doing new Trigun. We want to make sure it's to the likeness of the what the author envisioned. So, like, how long is that? I guess just like incubation process of making sure that everyone's on the same wavelength.
Yeah, Trigun actually took 5 years to.
Holy fuck.
5 years?
Okay, I was expecting like couple of months or, you know, a year at most.
Wait, can you break down what those 5 years
So that
are?
first year was definitely the intensive part.
Right.
Yeah.
Talking to Naito, how do we understand you?
Drinking.
Yeah, drinking.
1 year of drinks before we're happy to proceed to
I
the
mean,
next.
it's not all drinks. But
Yeah.
just hanging out and chatting.
Yeah.
But yeah, from there it started. Then how do we create this world? So Naito's world is in the manga frame itself. We can't ask him to just draw the entire what's not in the manga.
Yeah.
So because he's working on Gekkai Sensen, I mean that's precious to him as well.
Yeah,
Right.
So then, how can we make something precious as equivalent, or try to at least match to the preciousness of what he created?
Okay.
So we hired actual sci-fi author to write down the entire history for 150 years of history from this before the crash to after the crash.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
So you just have the entire timeline of the world just laid out. Oh
Yes.
wow. Okay. And like from there you kind of like built up from that like one timeline.
So from
okay.
there, we decided what to keep, what not to keep. What can we describe? What can we not describe?
Okay.
Yeah.
How much of this timeline was not in the show? I'm curious in terms of like percentage.
Percentage is difficult, but I mean,
Was it like the majority, or
there's a lot of hundreds of pages before the crash, so a lot of it that's not included there.
I don't know what the crash is. Should I know what that is?
So in 98 Trigun, they
It's
crashed.
been so long since I watched
Okay.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it is. Okay.
how do we explain without spoiling?
Okay.
Yeah,
wait.
don't spoil. Don't
yeah,
spoil
okay,
me.
okay,
Even though I've already
it's-
seen the original Trigun.
Yeah.
Well, it was in the original Trigun anime.
Yeah, I forgot. It's been so long.
So in the original Trigun, even though it's kind of like a Western,
Yeah.
right? It's obviously not set on Earth,
Yeah.
right? And so humanity has found a way there.
Yeah.
And basically it turns into kind of like a sci-fi
Yeah, I remember that part.
aspect.
I remember aliens, and I don't remember why.
Because I feel it's not until like the last
Yeah,
like
it
4 or
was-
5 episodes.
I, remember
Yeah.
I was like, what? I was like, okay, but cool cross go.
And then Vash goes Super Saiyan. Right?
Because I feel like a lot of the sci-fi aspects in the original Trigun, that was almost not like one of the core aspects of the show. It definitely came in like halfway through, but I feel like Trigun Stampede, the first big difference I noticed was you're like, from episode 1, this is a sci-fi show.
Yeah, way more
We are
sci-fi.
leaning into that right
Yeah.
now. Was it part of the creative decision to kind of like focus more on the sci-fi aspects and focus on like the world building?
Yeah, the director, one of his specialties is his question in designing everything is, where are you from? Where are you going?
Right.
So in Trigun, they had to know where these characters are coming from
Right.
and what their objective is and where they're going to the end.
Oh, okay. So going back to the timeline, how much didn't you put in the show, or how much did you actually show out of everything all this work that you did before in terms of building this world?
Well, my partner says that we could make another, like 5 more shows.
Oh my God.
Based off of this.
I feel like you could release that sci-fi book as like an episode 0. Yeah. You know, like a light novel or some kind. I feel there's, because like you could definitely feel, you know, there were definitely in the way that the story was structured, when you get to know more about the crash and the history behind the crash, there's definitely a lot of vital information there that is important to the present day of whatever episode you're watching, which, you know, obviously is great because it gets you way more invested into the storytelling. But there were also a lot of details where I'm like, okay, but I kind of want to know a little bit more about this, because that would just get me even further invested. But obviously, there's a 12 episode time limit, right? So you can't fucking go all out with it. Like, you know, the Dune movie did the exact same thing, where it's like, we'll sprinkle in some like hints of backstory.
Why is it always 12 or 24 episodes?
That's how the TV structured
Is it?
broadcast in Japan.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, damn, there's got to be a cool reason. Just TV contracts. Okay.
All right.
But some of them go direct to streaming and don't even air on TV in Japan. So, but they still keep that 24 or
No,
12.
Netflix doesn't. You think about Edge Runners, that was 10 episodes.
I guess so, yeah. But then
Yeah.
even on Netflix, a lot of the anime do still go at 12 or
And then, you know, if you go to like OVA stuff like that, like Fully Cooley was only 6 episodes.
Castlevania started off as 4 episodes and then 8 episodes. So I mean, I feel like it's a difference between like let's say a Netflix original produced anime and something that Netflix just bought out. Which
that's like a big chunk though to decide in one go. Like, what if you have like 16 episodes worth? You're like, do we just trim it down, or do we try and find stuff to?
I mean, that's the entire dilemma. Every single anime producer feels, director feels.
It's either too quick or way too slow.
Yeah. So if it's based on manga, it could be ideally 16 episodes, but they can only use 12. So what do they do?
Yeah. Okay. So like. Oh shit! I have so many questions, but I guess go into the manga thing. So you have a manga, you have to adapt, like let's say Trigun or Beastars. How do you position it so that the season ends on like a banger? You know, on like what feels like a season ending.
Yeah.
And what if there's no like natural breaking point? What's the creative process around condensing everything into 12 episodes?
So in case of Beastars and even Trigun, what we do is the same. We actually take everything apart first.
Right.
And we look at what is the tempo of the film, what is the tempo of the story, and what's the how can we keep everything, but still not some part we have to cut it all out.
Right. So basically everything is kind of like everything has to be planned around like kind of like a self-contained story arc is what I'm getting. All right, so going back to Trigun, you have your timeline. What comes next after the timeline?
So timeline, as we're developing timeline, we're developing concept arts. So then it comes into what ideas can emerge from the storyline visually.
Right. Okay.
So I mean, we were working with Tajima Koji. He's the guy behind who designed the new Venom in the live action Venom.
Okay.
Stuff. And so he's excellent. He's amazing. So each day he draws dozens of images, and he drew 400 images for Trigun.
just concept art.
Yeah, concept art.
Oh my God.
I mean, I've seen a lot of bookstores in Japan where they just sell straight up books filled with these concept arts, and it's literally like big enough for a lot of series to just fill an entire book. And some of these images you never see in the show. It's just like to get a vibe or a feel of this is what the world and story and characters is going to be like. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So 400, we used it some for promotion, but most of the design is entirely different because the idea is what really matters there.
So at this point, how many years into production are you in?
So this is still the first year.
Still the first year. Has the script been written yet?
No.
Okay. So you have your concept art, and then I guess you kind of like narrow down what kind of vibe.
Yeah, so we made the entire foundation into the year. Right. Then from the foundation, we started writing the script.
Okay. At this point, was character design like a thing, or
no? Design has a purpose.
Right.
Industrial design always has a purpose. Was the concept for Trigun.
Okay.
So it's not that I like this style of design, I don't like this design. It's why are you designed that way?
Does it work in the world that it's set in? Right.
So it's like, can you break down what concept art kind of like is? What is it that is being drawn, and what kind of like thing is being built on?
So for example, it's really hard to describe without the concept art in front of me.
Like a feeling.
Yeah, like a feeling.
Yeah, like I mean, it's something definitely. That concept art does it? How much can we inspire the scriptwriter, the director, the designer?
Right.
To give more of a picture of the world. Yes. I suppose to kind of flesh it out. Because I'm fucking stupid. If I don't see a picture of something, I'm like, I can't imagine that. Like, to me, that doesn't mean anything.
I'm a visual learner.
I'm just straight up dumb. I'm not a visual learner. If I don't get a picture, I'm like, what am I reading here?
So it sounds like the concept art is like, for more of the better terms, is like a vibe check, right? To just be like, here is the general overarching feel and vibe of the world, and then from there you kind of start honing into the details as you go into like character design and all that kind of stuff.
Is that concept art?
Yeah, that's concept art.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So in the original Trigun anime, it was designed as Western.
Yeah.
So it is Western inspired. So there's things made out of wood.
Yeah.
But if we're taking this sci-fi approach, this is a desert planet. There's no plants. There's no kind of plants. So if human civilization brought in a crashed ship, there's no wood used on the ship.
Yeah.
So where does wood come? So it doesn't come from anywhere.
Never thought about that.
So in this new Trigun Stampede, we don't have any wood architecture unless it's this one origin called plants. It's not same as plants of the trees, but
I never thought about that until
Checkmate Trigun.
Oh my god!
Because when you see like the towns and cities in Trigun, I can't explain it. It just feels like that could be real.
Sometimes you just watch a show where the world just makes sense on a subconscious level. Do you know what I mean? Where sometimes you watch a show or play a game and you're like, I don't know why this world operates this way. Yeah. And you can't really say why it doesn't make sense. Just something just feels wrong. But one thing I got from watching Trigun Stampede is that it feels like a world that just exists.
Yeah, like you don't stop to question it.
You don't stop to question it, you know, and it's not like every detail is spelt out, but it feels like your brain just accepts it on a subconscious level, and I guess I'm like kind of figuring out why that is now.
I mean, we thought about how's the population ratio of this crashed ship. Where did they focus on? So the Asian population focuses on here. Other population focuses here. How did these people communicate? So the trade route should be focused like that. So those are all things we thought about.
How deeply did you go into like these little details in the the macroeconomics?
I mean, the book is like this big. So.
Oh my god. Oh my god!
Yeah, you're basically like recreating a civilization from scratch.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I thought that probably game creators are probably doing like this.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, you play Destiny. You're like, go online to download the 19-page PDF to find out why this rock is blue. You're like, what the fuck? I don't want to do that.
It's like some Lord of the Rings shit.
Why can't you guys explain stuff to me? What the hell?
So this was all done within like the first year.
I mean, that took. I mean, we're starting to go into the later years too as well.
Okay.
So everything is going parallels.
Right. So everything is going in parallel. So at which point did like the script start being written and like, let's say the character designs start being like finalized?
Yeah. After the first year, we started going to designs and the script writing.
Right.
But to finalize that, we took 3 years. So.
Oh shit. Okay. Is in your experience, is this like normal for an anime production, or is this just
no?
Okay.
I mean, Orange itself is uncommon for an anime production. We take 3 years,
right?
Where industry standard is like 2. I
think. That's what I thought as well.
Isn't that crazy to think? Like you say 3 years very casually, but that's the time that Trash Taste has been around. Isn't that wild to think about?
You guys could have a Trash Taste anime.
If we started working on episode 1, it would be done right about now. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Yeah, it's interesting that you had so much concept art done, because I kind of just assumed that because there was like pre-existing material like manga, like a manga there, that there wouldn't need to be this much work to be done in pre-production.
I mean, there's also a previous anime as well,
and a previous anime
as
well. But I guess this is like the work that you don't really think about or you don't really see.
I'm curious because you mentioned earlier as it's your job to find the money to fuel the anime. Surely, when the show takes 5 years, that's a lot more money that we got to get a hold of. How do you how do you convince people to be like, it'll make enough money? Trust me, it'll work. What's that whole? Because I'm just so interested about the financials of it all. Because it seems like such a kind of an industry that doesn't have a lot of money, but somehow it always just turns up, and it's like we'll figure it out.
So a lot of Japan is not really legal culture, so it's a lot about trust, word of mouth. So I mean, Orange luckily had a track record of making amazing shows.
Yeah,
right.
So animation at least. So we basically were building on that trust, working on that trust, and just constantly just saying that it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But
just take our word for it. Don't worry about it.
And so because I don't know how any of this works. You know, as a studio that actually makes the show, how is it the studio actually makes money from these shows? Is it what kind of ways of getting revenue is there for the studios?
It depends it really depends on
the show,
widely on how each show is.
Oh, okay.
For Orange, the primary is we're work for hire. So we were hired by a client to do one show.
Okay.
That makes way more sense. I thought it was like, okay, guys, we got to sell this many REM figures, or we're going broke this year.
All right, crack open the savings account, boys. Like,
everyone pitch in $1,000.
All right, boys, we're making a REM spin-off. We got to get those figure sales up, guys.
Yeah, I always wondered how it all, because it seemed like it was a lot of different rights holders and a lot of different parties at play, and it just seemed like a really complicated mess of who gets what money and why there's so many different things. And wait, why is Rem on a pachinko machine? What the hell? It's like a bunch of different things going on. It always seems just kind of like trust me, it'll be fine kind of approach a lot of the time.
So how long does it take to produce a single episode of anime? Let's say like a single 20-minute episode of anime. In your experience, how long does that take to make?
So a normal production would say like 3 months, but that's not for Orange normal production.
Right.
In Orange's case, we actually make about 3 episodes at once.
Right.
And then find what's the quality line, and then based off of there, make the rest other episodes.
Right.
So that first 3 episodes is a benchmark maker.
What do you mean by the quality line?
So like this is the quality benchmark that we're trying to set.
Well, you set yourself a really high benchmark.
Yeah.
I've seen that first episode of Trigun.
So you go
You
like
should hear me. You should hear me talking to my boss.
I get it.
I'm like, please don't set it so high. Please don't set it so high.
Oh, so you could be like, guys, pump the brakes on this one. Let's make this shittier. Like, we got to make 50 goddamn episodes of this. We got to slow down.
I just like to think
You don't know how many times for every single project I say, we are doing better than any other show.
So it's your job
please
to be
don't
like,
do
guys, make it worse. Please stop this.
I just like to imagine like episode 1 just like airs for everyone in the studio to watch. Everyone's just sweating. Yeah. Thinking like, oh fuck, we gotta top this.
Yeah, it does feel like when when your older brother is like smart, you're like, fuck's sake, man, really?
Stop.
No, I look worse.
Be dumb.
Because like I remember like Trigun Stampede episode 1, it opens on a scene where it's like the spaceship is like exploding, and you see Vash and Nice like flying out.
Oh, just like whizzing?
Like whizzing around. And I remember watching that, I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
I suppose you watched that and you're like, we got 12 episodes of this that we got to keep up to?
That was okay. That was okay. When I saw the 12 episode, when they were doing it, I'm like, I messaged everyone in the company. I'm like, how are we doing this?
It's like, we're fucked, boys.
Yeah. I've noticed now, because there is so much anime being made, it's like more competitive than ever in terms of like shows that you got to compete with. There's a lot more pressure to make like episode 1 a standout episode to get people's attention. Do you have that mindset going into like producing an anime, that you have to make episode 1 stick or land as soon as possible, or is that something that it's not really thought about?
Definitely it's a weekly show, so the first episode really matters. Right. Also, we in our mind, for our based on our successful experience with Land Illustrious, is that first 3 episodes that really matters.
The 3 episode rule.
Oh my god, it's canon.
They use it in the industry, boys.
It's canon. Oh my god,
the 3 episode rule.
Oh my god,
but there's actually a reason for that as well. The Trigun Stampede was based on a movie, the three-part movie. I don't know the English
trilogy.
No. How it's Act 1, Act 2. Act
3 acts. The 3 act rule.
So it was based on 3 act rule. So the first 3 episodes was the first act.
Right.
From there, it changes the tone again. So,
Would you say that Trigun was the hardest production you've been involved with?
Yes. So every single production is always hard, but it just updates whatever.
It just gets harder and harder and harder. Yeah.
How was working on Beastars compared to Trigun?
Say no more.
So Beastars, our animator took 1 week to do 1 shot. Trigun Stampede took 3 weeks to do 1 shot.
Oh my god damn. I guess, if you have to animate clothes on characters in Trigun versus not many clothes.
Faces.
Oh, the face.
Yeah, because like I noticed, I'm not sure if this was always the case, but I definitely noticed in Trigun that you guys lip synced the audio, which I'm like, you're not using like the 3 frames of the mouth like claps, which I'm used to. You're actually like going frame by frame and animating the facial expressions as well, which which is one thing that like really stood out to me.
Yeah.
So going to Beastars then, how was that pre-production? Was there as much time put into, let's say, the world building and the vibe going into that production?
Beastars case, we never. I mean, the original intention for our producing is that we love Beastars, and the whole the producing team was that the first page was that let's adapt this as it is to animation. So it wasn't that as hard as that.
Okay. So was Itagaki Sensei like involved as much as like Naito Sensei was with Beastars?
In different ways. So in her case, she wasn't actually used to anime. She wasn't really familiar first of all anime.
Right.
So she was a lot more experienced with film.
Oh.
So for us, our challenge was, can we show this as a film to her, and it's something passable to her?
That explains so much.
That's crazy to think that you like the whole way the show is made is like just to kind of, I guess, please one person, essentially. That's so odd to think.
It's also odd to think that she was never into anime, considering she's the daughter of fucking the creator of Baki. Yeah. Like, you'd think you'd be into it, but
really an anime for a long time, right?
I guess so. Oh, I mean, there was the 90s Scrapple Baki anime, but
yeah. Well, I think that's part of the big reason why, like, you know, Beastars just, I don't know, something about the vibe just didn't feel like an anime.
It's very odd.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
It makes so much sense because I feel, unlike a lot of manga stories out there, the flow of Beastars definitely feels more like a live action film than a standard manga.
Weird. I'm just gonna say it's very weird.
Yeah,
it's just weird. Is there ever a point where you guys are animating this? You're like, what the fuck is this? You're like, oh my god, what are we animating?
It's like, okay, boys, I don't know how to tell you this, but we're gonna have to animate a rabbit having sex with a deer.
Well, is it like
they're just like, okay.
You guys go to the zoo. You're like, all right, let's just watch the rabbits. Or you're like, all right, boys, we're going to the strip club. We're going to research. We're going to go on location research.
We did go to a strip club.
I knew it. I knew it.
Guys,
sorry. To be accurate, we went to a pole dancing club, not a strip club.
Okay.
You guys taking notes? You guys are taking notes?
It's reference material.
It's research purposes.
It's because that there's a pole dancing character.
I know. I watched it and I was like, what am I watching?
Yeah.
Season 1, I could get away with saying I wasn't a furry, but season 2, it's just getting harder and harder to argue this.
Oh no, I went into the anime already a furry. Like I was already converted. I just need to ask, why did you have to make Juno so hot?
Yeah, honestly.
Wait, what does that look? What does that look?
Why did you have to make her so hot?
Every single character in that show is hot.
Oh no.
Wait.
Okay, I will admit Legacy also hot. But Juno, I don't know what it is about Juno that awoke something in me. Because she, I think, single-handedly turned me into a furry.
I think there's something wrong with my brain. I can only envision the deer is called Stanley. I don't know why. What is his name?
It's Louis.
Louis. I always think of him as Stanley in my head. It
would have been such a different anime if his name was Stanley.
Louis is hot.
Louis is also hot.
Glasses and
I
just like, I remember that scene. I think it was like end of season 1
Pulls
where
out a gun, right?
Oh yeah.
Just like, okay.
Why don't deers just do that in real life?
Tell me you were raised by the man who made Becky without telling me.
God, it was just that scene where it was like Juno and Louis together. And like she's just on top of him. I'm just like, I could feel neurons just firing at that point.
Weird. This sounds weird to anyone who hasn't seen Beast.
I can only get so erect.
I mean, it could be a lot of this. What we do is that it's mocapped.
I was going to go into that actually. So I assume that most 3D studios don't do mocap?
A lot of 3D studios do mocap, but they use it totally different way from us.
So how do you guys use it as opposed to other 3D
studios?
So
for us, it's only a reference. So for example, you know how Pixar animators, they act on camera to animate their scene?
Yeah.
Basically, we're just doing that in mocap. So all our animators are doing the motion capture.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
How extensively is that used? Is that like every scene or just
every physically doable scene? So it's just regular, just talking like this.
Right.
Our animators do it, but if it's like dancing, fighting, martial art and stuff, we have hire professional people to do it.
You have to hire like professional martial artists.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Or professional motion capture, yeah.
Oh wow! How does that work? So they come into the studio one day and you kind of like, okay, this is. Do you come up with the choreography, or do you get them to come up with the fight choreography?
Usually we hire someone to come up with the choreography.
Right. So how does that read in a script versus how like what?
Seeing why this took 5 years now.
Yeah.
Adding these steps on more than I thought it was just some dude just playing around with a model.
Just wiggling it around.
What the hell is this? We're hiring people to act it out?
Yeah, so it's like I'm super curious. So like, let's say in the script, there's a scene in Trigun. Vash fights a baddie or something. How much detail is in the script that the choreographer has to work with to, I guess, make the action scene?
Action scene actually relies heavily more on the storyboard. So in the script, it could be just like one line at times.
Okay. So,
I feel because Vash is kind of, I feel a little bit different because a lot of his movements are just very animated, like to the point where it's almost like it's the kind of comedic animated where it's like, oh, that's clearly the movements of a cartoon character or like an anime character, right? It's like a lot of movements where it's like a human couldn't possibly do that kind of movement, but it's believable because it's not a real actor you're looking at.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I feel that kind of movement would be super hard for like a mocap actor to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like especially watching Vash's, like a lot of his character is in his animation, especially when he's like pirouetting round bullets and all that kind of stuff. So in terms of like storyboarding, I guess, going back to the timeline of like an anime being made. So you have the script, and then does the storyboard come after that? And then
when the script's finalized, we start doing storyboard.
Right.
So in our case, we do something called pre-scoring after that. So instead of recording, most animes in Japan record after when they start doing animation. But for us, we do recording before we start doing animation because we want to make all the pacing of the film before our animators go in.
Okay, I guess that explains the perfect lip syncing then, because I was like, that would have been hard as fuck to do.
Do you make a film to make a film?
Yes.
It's weird how to get better animation, you just need to bring more human involvement in the animation.
Basically, our concept is that how can we use the experience, but instead of relying solely on people experience, how do we make that as a system? So if we could adapt that experience into a system first, then next project, we could use that system as a foundation to gain more experience.
Right. Okay. How many shows do you end up working on like simultaneously? Is it only like one at a time, or do you like have multiple shows that you're being worked on?
It depends on time to time, but usually 2 shows at a time for animation.
Okay.
For planning, as a producer, I'm working like 5-6 different shows right now.
Oh wow!
How do you like just organize that all? Like,
I mean, I have some assistant producers,
right,
or some projects I'm more emotionally involved in,
right,
invested in.
Is there?
It's like, I don't give a shit about this show too much. Give it to the assistant.
No, every show to Orange matters.
Of course.
We can't miss. I mean, we spend.
He don't miss. He said it. That's why they're the GOAT.
I agree. Actually,
I agree.
Yeah.
It takes 3 years for us to develop a show. So,
have you ever said no to be like, I don't think we could do this, or I don't?
No, I mean, there's a lot of times we say that.
Okay.
Is it due to like personal reasoning or like more like a technical like limit, or?
I mean, it's mostly technical.
Right.
So, I mean, if they were giving this certain manga and there's like 100, as I said, there are 100 characters on it.
Right.
We simply can't do this.
Is there any like dream shows that you want to work on, or that you would love?
Is there a show where it's like Orange? If Orange did this show, it would be a banger.
I'm working on this, so I can't say it.
Oh, okay. You can tell us after the show, man. We all know.
Damn. No, I'm excited because
So when is the show ending? I just want to know right now.
A question that is often asked nowadays is, because you do a lot of 3D animation, and right now there's a massive conversation around like AI and all that stuff. Do you feel that there's any possibility in the future where it somehow helps make anime or helps the production aspect in any form?
Or could it be seen as perhaps a detriment to the current model that 3D studios might have?
I mean, there's there's many issues revolving AI. There's the morale issue, there's the legal issue, and I can't even specify which issue they have right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Many issues.
There's a lot of issues.
Yeah.
I mean, unless we're able to feel comfortable with that, we're not going to utilize it as a tool. I mean, everything eventually is a tool for us.
Yeah.
But without that issue solved, we can't really use it.
Yeah, because like, what is the general vibe around AI in like the Japanese animation industry right now? Because we have a vibe from Twitter, but you know that.
I mean,
Twitter's vibe is always bad.
Yeah.
that's the only thing I actually know because
really?
I don't interact with the rest of the industry anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because to us, it's about how can we make ourselves better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, using other part of the industry is not really a reference.
Don't have enough time to care about the rest of the industry. It's like, we're just here to make bangers, damn it.
I mean, it sounds selfish, but I mean, it's our problems that we're facing right now.
Of course, you gotta.
How do I solve our problems, not other people's problems?
No, definitely.
Has this conversation cropped up into Orange at all? Like the conversation of AI?
We always have the conversation, but right now is not yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe in the future if things settle, but not yet.
Right.
I guess because there's always like, softwares that have like smart tools, right? Like there's some things that'll, you can tell it, hey, I mean, like in a weird way, I guess like fill on paint, right? Like, you just fill the whole thing. It's like in between all, it's like, I guess there's always that line that's kind of difficult with some tools that make doing certain kind of things in animation or whatever easier that would technically be classed as AI, but aren't, I guess, morally using the whole take everyone's fucking input and then blur something out. I suppose it's kind of like getting that balance of tools that are useful and are made ethically between the whole, let's make an anime for me.
Yeah, it's like, to what point is it morally right to automate the process?
Yeah.
Right, where it's like, if it's too automated, then is it even
it's not
a person making it?
It's also like, how is that automation being done?
Right.
What is it learning from? What is it maybe even stealing from, right?
Yeah.
I guess that's the moral quandary of it all.
I mean, right now, I mean, we develop our own tools.
Oh,
so,
wow. Really?
I mean, not AI tools, just tools.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, we have experience of 10, then we make a tool, then that will create us a equivalent of experience of 3. So we hand it off to our new grads, then use that, then they instantly start out from 3. That's our way of thinking.
Do you mind elaborating on what tools that you have?
So, I mean, one would be the automorph face. So one of the things is that CG and hand-drawn, the major difference is that CG is 3-dimensional, hand-drawn is not.
Yes.
It might look 3-dimensional, but the comfort level doesn't have to be 3-dimensional to create comfort. So a lot of the manga is actually not 3-dimensional. It looks realistic, but it's not 3-dimensional.
Yeah. Because, like, I guess there's always, like, the challenge of, having a 3D model is great, but making sure that it looks good on camera, I guess, which is
two-dimensional,
which is a a 2-dimensional thing, and you have to create a specific tool just for that.
So we have a tool called automorph where we point the camera to a character, and that model will just automatically warp. Wow. So it could this side just completely warp this way to make sure that on the camera it looks really natural. So like sideways, manga characters will have 2 eyes where physically it's impossible because they're 9 degrees.
Yeah.
But in our automorph, it automatically warped it so that
Oh, like shit. That. Okay.
So you're kind of playing around with, so you're morphing the face to play around with perspective.
Yes.
To make it look more naturally, like, I guess, 2-dimensional, right?
Yeah.
So you guys developed that in-house?
In-house.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Because as experience, we know how to do it by hand, but we're physically changing the model every single shot. That's
so it's like kind of like
much.
Almost like presets a little bit. It's like, okay, if camera here, warp the face around.
Yeah.
Because have you seen the behind the scenes of like some of the JoJo openings?
I haven't actually, no.
Oh, because like there are some
those
shots.
are 3D as well.
Yeah,
right?
those are 3D, and there are some shots with some like the poses, and there's like been some screenshots of like what it looks like out of like the camera perspective, and like I remember seeing one where I think it's like Joseph's hand was like just like warped like ridiculously when he was doing like one of the pose. it looks so ridiculous when you just change the perspective just a little bit, but on camera looks really cool.
Yeah, I guess that's one thing I wanted to ask is like when you guys wanted to, obviously, the main goal with Orange is to be like, all right, how do we make the 3D animation look as pristine and as comfortable for people who are more used to just watching 2D animation as possible. When it came to that, like obviously there's been like past and different studios who have done 3D animation with varying success. Have you ever like gone to like look at some of the maybe the older shows that have used maybe a little more like primitive 3D to kind of like get a hint of like, okay, maybe if we work on this, then it won't end up like this show? Or like, do you use it as a reference to be like, okay, this is what not to do, so let's not do what they did in this show and instead try and fix that in our show?
It's most case like it's actually trial and error on our own thing.
Right.
So we try it, start making it, and it doesn't work, then we go back to the scratchboard, do it again.
So you never look back at like old shows to be like, oh, that 3D sucks.
Not really.
Okay. I mean, that's good to know.
I mean, there's actually a lot of things to focus on. I mean, if they're doing other people are doing better, then it's more time. It's more better to use on analyzing that.
Right. Right.
I've found it really interesting you use the word comfort when watching animation. It kind of makes sense why you would say the word comfort, but it seems very unusual to describe animation as being comfortable, right? But I suppose when we're talking about 3D, where often the major complaint is that it looks weird.
The uncanniness,
yeah. So what is it that, like, why do some shows just not get that right? Like, what is the main thing that is the common mistake that happens when we're talking about 3D animation?
Because it's 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3D.
Well, wait, why is that bad? I don't get it.
I mean, they're trying to make look something that's 3D, not 3D. So that causes uncomfort.
Right. So it's kind of like an uncanny valley effect.
So it's a little bit different from the uncanny valley that Pixar and stuff ran into at first. Right. But since we're trying Toon Shade, then we run into a different uncanniness.
What's Toon Shade?
Toon Shade is basically the cell look, the hand-drawn type of look that we do in 3D.
Okay, so do you specifically try to, I guess, emulate the anime style? Do you want your shows to be seen like a 2D show, or kind of like something a bit different from your typical 2D anime?
We start out, I mean, when we started doing animation, it's just whatever we were able to do at the time.
Yeah.
We started as a work for hire for other hand-drawn studios. Right. So we're required to create something that blends into their art style. So that's where we started out.
Yeah, because you guys worked, co-worked on Black Bullet, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like, what was the main role of Studio Orange in that show?
I can't really remember.
Was it like backgrounds and stuff, or
there should be some enemies, I think, that appeared in Black Bullet that were CG.
That was CG. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was before my time, so sorry.
Right. No, that's okay. Yeah.
Do you do less of that kind of work now in terms of like working on other shows, in terms of like 3D CG elements, and now do you mostly focus on your own stuff?
Yeah, I mean, focusing on more our own stuff was our dream. Okay. So we mainly do that, but I mean, sometimes we have some open time. So in that times we work for hire for other studios still.
So I'm curious, was Hoseki no Kuni your first like fully Studio Orange produced show?
Yes.
Okay. How did that come about? Was that when you were working there?
It was actually how the project started was before any producer existed at Orange.
Oh, okay.
It was the producer for Beastars and Trigun who wanted to do Land Illustrious at Orange.
Right.
And then my partner Waki was called in from Studio Chizu, who did like Hosoda Mamoru's movie.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
So he's the first producer to exist in Orange.
Oh, okay. Oh. And kind of like it must have been, I guess, daunting to be like, yeah, we're just gonna do a 3D produced anime now. We've never
especially when like
done this
Hoseki no
before.
Kuni came out, and I think it was at like the peak of the 3D anime equals bad stigma, right? And then all of a sudden you have a fully 3D anime, Land Illustrious, which at the time had a very dedicated like manga fan base as well, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure like did you guys like get any initial backlash when it first came out, or were people like pleasantly surprised about it?
How did you
I don't think no one really expected anything until it came out.
Right.
Yeah,
How it came out suddenly. So
yeah, how did you convince the producers to be like, yeah, okay, trust us. we haven't got anything to prove ourselves, but trust us.
Our resume is practically empty, but we can do it.
Actually, we did some character animation before Land Illustrious, but not as a non-work for hire.
Right.
Okay. So. Did you have to like? Because I guess like my the first thing that comes to mind is I remember like I saw a documentary of when Jurassic Park was being made. There was a conversation about whether we should do these dinosaurs in stop motion or in 3D, and the VFX company had to make like just a showcase of what they could do. Did Studio Orange need to do something similar as well going into it?
No, I mean from the start was that it was already decided that they wanted to do it in 3D.
Right.
And they wanted to do Land Lustrous at Orange. So the producer's job is like figure it out.
We have this daunting task for you. Figure your shit out. Like, what the fuck?
I compared to, I mean, I guess 2D anime has something kind of similar, where I imagine that with technology improving, it makes it easier. Was there like big leaps at all in the past, like since Land of the Lustrous, that have kind of made it easier or made production smoother?
What we've done in the past is a lot easier because we put it into tools.
Right.
But because of that time now we're challenging new stuff. It's never easy for any shows.
Yeah, I've noticed, like, it feels like, to me at least, from every show you guys have produced, you've always stepped up in some different ways.
Yeah.
So even if you made a banger show already, you're like, how do we do this better? How do we do this better?
Yeah, because like I didn't think you guys could top Beastars, and you did.
Thank you.
Like, it was nuts. Like,
Oh god, yeah. Episode, I don't even want to know how long episode 12 Trigun took to produce.
I haven't
because
seen it.
that last fight scene, episode 12, is nuts.
yeah.
Yeah,
I'll go and watch it.
actually insane.
For Beastars, how did you go about animating like animal characters and giving them like the same animalistic characters that each, I guess, animal has?
So Beastars, we start from, I mean, they have human traits as animals.
Yeah.
So what's the balance between that? So we started looking at the anatomy.
Yes.
So how does animal muscle facial structure happen? Why do animals not smile? So
shit, okay.
how can we make these creatures smile?
Right.
Was the first starting point.
So you literally had to break down each animal's anatomy. Did that go into like the modeling of all of the characters as well? Oh my god.
I mean, like if animals don't have this muscle and this muscle,
right?
so they can't make the rich expressions as humans. It's impossible for them.
Right.
So
Yeah, because I guess that must have been like an uncanny valley that would have been difficult to overcome, because it's like if you just added those muscles in to the model, then I'm sure like the first couple of like prototypes must have looked like super janky, right?
yeah.
How much research did you have to do on each animal before even like modeling?
I mean, that's the reason 3 years.
We drank at the zoo for 3 years and like talked to the animals.
Broke into the zoo.
Yeah. Smile, damn it.
We'll have a
Real challenge.
studio animal
in the
too.
pole dancing. That was the real challenge. I'm sorry. I was
No, yeah. So yeah, 3 years of research.
Yeah,
Was that?
I mean, 2 years of research.
2 years of research.
Jesus.
Just
So, I mean, research just in books or photos or videos, but also research of actually putting it into model and if it's working or not.
Is this 3 years after, like, hey, we've signed a contract being like, let's make the show. We've been brought in to do this. You know, how do you then explain? I assume to like a client, it's got to be kind of tough to be like, hey, just give them a little while. They're just figuring things out. Like, how does that whole conversation go?
I mean, that's the conversation we had to have for Trigun.
Yeah, you're just like, hey, just trust me. We're gonna figure it out.
Oh, I mean, Trigun. Since a producer for a Trigun on our client side is a producer who worked for Land Lustrous and Beastars. We knew each other, so we had a lot of mutual trust, and we're not going to hide stuff. We're showing him this is the process we're doing right now.
Yeah. How much do you kind of like need to network as an anime producer in terms of meeting other people in the industry?
I used to be a hand-drawn side.
Right.
But hand-drawn side was immense because I had to collect every single animator myself too.
Jeez.
Not every single, but a lot of the key figures.
Yeah.
But for Orange production, all of our animators are in-house.
Okay.
So I don't have to do that on that side. It's to me, who am I going to find for the key staff? So the scriptwriter, director, episode director, and such.
So is that in-house as well? Or you?
No, those are outside.
Okay, I see.
Okay, so you literally have to like go out to the industry and see who is available to work on this one show for these specific roles.
Yes.
Why wouldn't you have those people in-house? Like, what's the benefit to having them, like, picking writers and stuff outside?
Some people we have in-house, but each project is so different. I mean, what's required is so different. Art style is different. Storytelling is different.
That makes sense.
So,
Right. Okay. How accurate is Shirobako? I've always wondered because, like, as an anime viewer, when we talk about anime production, you know, there is a lot more resources out right now. But to, like I say, someone who's not too deep into the field, a lot of people look at Shirobako as being like, this is a documentary, basically.
Yeah. I've had so many instances of someone like giving me like a tidbit on like, oh, this is how the anime production works, and I'm like, what's your source? And they're like, Shirobako episode 7, and I'm like, okay, but maybe some of it is like dramatized. So yeah.
I mean, papers. I mean, he's using shurikens. Of course, it's a fiction.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I mean, I was never involved in Shirobako itself.
Yes.
But I mean, it's a lot of it is real. So when we're driving to pick up animation from animators, we see other rival studios. We do stare at each other like this and like start revving the engine. I mean, we all make sure that we are not caught.
I just love to imagine
legal
When you
stuff.
see each other at the strip club, it's like,
no, we're working on that, not you.
I'm sure you're working
It's
on
like that Zoolander meme
Yeah.
where they, like, anime producers, when they're picking up the animation, they just look past each
Luigi death stare each other. Just like,
Shirobako feels so exciting and real because that is based on a lot of people's experience.
other. Yeah. Is it normal for like an episode to be finished just before it like airs on TV?
For our case, I mean, that's not the style we choose anymore.
Yeah.
But I mean, in my past career, I have had that kind of situation as well.
God.
Was it like pretty often, or was it like kind of like a one-off?
I could call it often.
Oh no!
Who's got the good PC to render this out?
I mean, I had a time where I thought how I comfortably sleep at the studio was an amazing thing. But I'm really glad now that I don't have to sleep at a studio at all.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Did you have to sleep like at your previous roles? Did you have to sleep there? How often did you have to sleep at the studio?
Well, I mean, cardboard is comfortable.
Oh no!
Sleeping bag on the cardboard is even more comfortable.
oh my god!
Sleeping under a meeting desk is really comfortable because there's no light coming on you.
Oh no!
It's like, get this episode out. I haven't seen my wife in 3 days.
How much of like The Office would, obviously in the past, how much of The Office, like percentage-wise, would end up just sleeping at the office?
Percentage is difficult because I mean everyone's doing different shows.
Yeah.
But like, it must feel like a giant sleepover if everyone's just kind of everyone's at the office.
I mean, there's a couple couches that's in the studio.
Okay.
Sometimes it was a fight to get that couch too.
I recently filmed something at a different anime studio, and I turned up at like 3 p.m. to film something, and it was people were coming in just from waking up, and I was like, what? They just woke up. It's 3 p.m.
I mean, that might not necessarily be overworking. I mean, the whole
just like
living.
Their sleep schedule might just be
I
fucked.
didn't get that impression, but I got the impression of like, oh, it's animators. They work on their own time.
Yeah.
The sleep schedule is a suggestion. When it gets done, it gets done.
Well, you don't have to be awake while everyone else is awake, as long as you get your work done.
As you get those 8 hours and you get those animations done, who cares?
I mean, nowadays things are becoming digital, so you'll have assistants going in cars. So. But back then, cars was a thing. So if there's traffic, that means we have to spend more time outside of the studio.
Oh my God.
So like, I guess you don't have to like name any names or anything like that, but like, when an anime production does go wrong, when you see the final product and it's not necessarily Studio Orange, just in general with the anime industry, what mistakes go into like an anime production that might not have the final product that the people working on it want to have? Like, because it seems like a lot of it is from the planning stages, and I'm curious what actually goes wrong in that sense.
There's thousands of array of things that needs to be careful about in production.
Right.
So honestly, as a production management, the amount of information that you have to manage is very, very intense. So, I think even missing one of them can be led to that.
Can you give some examples of what kind of like information?
It's like scheduling, or
it's been a while, so I trying to remember my memory.
Yeah, because it's like as an anime producer, I'm sure you have to like manage a lot of different things. So how long has it been since you joined Orange again?
It's been 5 years for me.
Okay,
so.
5 years.
And
So
COVID
enough to make one show.
I mean, COVID did special thing to me. It kind of wiped a lot of my memory before COVID.
bro,
That's humanity.
that's just humanity.
Yeah.
Bro.
The symptoms of like long COVID, your memory gets worse.
Is it?
Yeah, your memory can get worse. Yeah. I met someone who was like, yeah, my memory's been crap since I got COVID. I'm like, wait, is this real? I looked it up. Yeah, apparently some people got memory issues from COVID.
Jesus.
If you caught it. If you got long COVID.
Holy fuck.
I was just always done. So like it actually just didn't do anything.
Yeah, let me rephrase the question. What are some things to avoid to have a successful anime production, in your opinion?
To have a well communication, everything.
Everything.
You have,
right.
I mean, you have to communicate. You can't refuse to communicate. I mean, you constantly have to keep on up on everything information.
Right.
I feel that applies to just most businesses, though, right? It's like one miscommunication and just shit goes awry. Right?
Yeah. I remember like growing up. I remember growing up like in university or something like that. Yeah, every job would be bigging up the communication skills.
Yeah.
And I remember always thinking as a teenager, I'm like, what fucking skills is there to do? Just talk, bro. Just talk.
Yeah, you all at every job interview is how good are your communication skills?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know English, I guess.
I'll disappear.
Yeah. But like, yeah, especially working in like, I worked as like a project management. I realized, communication is definitely a skill, and there are some people that suck at it. And you have no idea how much a project can go wrong, whether it be an animation or any kind of other project you're managing, just because people don't feel like talking about it.
Yeah.
Or people just don't talk about everything. And I can only imagine with how many moving parts there are in the animation industry. Because like on a general project, how many people are involved?
So when I was doing production assistant, I was in charge of 20 animators. Right. So I had to look over the progress of 20 different animators for 3 months to 6 months.
Right.
And that itself is intensive because they're not necessarily in the studio. They could be working somewhere else.
Right.
And I had to call them. They might not pick up. Then I'll call them again. They don't pick up.
Yeah.
Then I'll call them again. So if they call and pick up, communicate, that's just a really amazing animator just to me at the time.
I'd be a great actor.
But nowadays, I mean, if you look at the credits, there's like hundreds of animators involved.
Right.
I mean, back then, what I experienced and things people experience now is totally different. I can't even imagine what people are going through right now because I've been away from that side.
Yeah. Because it seems like a lot of the time, especially talking to, Ken Ato, the other animator we had on, is that it becomes common, I guess. I'm not sure how common it actually is, but it seems like it's common for a lot of anime projects to be, let's say, behind schedule, right? And I guess I wonder how, is it because the estimation is wrong, or is it a different thing every time that so many anime projects always seem to be behind schedule and there seems to be a lot of crunch in like the animation industry?
I think every situation is different, but a lot of times, a lot of people are trying to make it better.
Right.
Their ambition's very big.
Okay.
It could be from individual level to a production level ambition.
Right.
I feel that's, because especially recently, I feel there's just been so many more news articles coming out about this anime has been delayed. This anime has been delayed. And I feel like I'm sure there's been delays over, the entire history of anime production, but it's something about just recently. Have you noticed this as well? So many shows are getting delayed.
I mean, I feel like it's
Probably
one
a good thing.
It's
yeah, maybe.
It means, but people are taking more time.
I hope so.
And I feel like that's just kind of like a symptom with many more anime shows being made. So a lot of them are going to be delayed, I guess.
I just hope that it is because of a quality issue and not like, say like, the guy creating the schedule just fucked up and overestimated everything, right?
Well, it seems like it sounds like from you, a lot of people in the anime industry are just perfectionists.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. If they wait a day longer, they might get something better.
Yeah,
before one day.
I mean, if I was working on one project for 5 years, I'd probably be a perfectionist too. I'm not gonna be like, yeah, it's done, it's good enough, whatever.
Actually, at Orange, it's totally done differently.
Right.
We actually simulate the entire production because if we don't do that, there's gonna be a piece that's missing.
Right,
we're gonna be fucked. We can't actually get past that piece.
Right.
Because if it's hand drawn, they'll just say just draw it.
Yeah.
If it's CG, tools can't do that. We can't do that. We can't get over there. We can't say, "Oh, we need this tool by tomorrow."
Yeah,
that doesn't happen. So.
Right.
Shit. Okay.
Damn.
So, sorry.
No, I'm just thinking about how, you know, I guess Japan is kind of notorious having a pretty brutal work-life balance, and anime even more so. Like you mentioned, sometimes you sleep on the floor. You know, but it sounds like Studio Orange is also a lot more forward-thinking and kind of modern when it comes to the approach of that. I'm just wondering, like, do you have any thoughts on crunch, or if there's a difference between crunch and just normal Japanese work-life balance, which it sounds like everyone is in crunch all the time in Japan.
I think it's because our way of thinking is different. Is because that we're not technically an anime studio, we're a CG studio, and that first of all because the workforce comes from workforce that we share with gaming.
Right.
So, I mean, when people get out of college or whatever the school or they train themselves, we're constantly competing with the gaming industry to get people.
Right.
So their starting point is their expectation in what they look for work is completely different.
Right.
You're like, hey, we think you'd be great for this.
So yeah, that's the starting point for us. So that's why it's so different. What we do is very anime-like,
Right.
but how people come into the industry is totally different.
Right. You kind of set the standards to that more akin to like the gaming industry than the standard anime industry, right?
So in our case, like it's 90% employee. So they're all our employee instead of hand-drawn. It's 90% hand-drawn.
Right.
So,
Right.
freelance, sorry.
Yeah, right.
In your like experience, you know, before Orange, how much, you know, if there's an anime production there, how much would be like in-house workers versus, let's say, freelance animators or, you know, animators outside of the studio?
Before Orange was all just industry standard. So
Right.
mostly freelancers.
Mostly freelancers.
I mean, at Orange, I'm not sure if this is something we intended to grow it this way, but I mean, now it is. So we like to keep it. It is. We don't want to go into like 90% freelancers.
Yeah, because I've noticed even now, like there's a lot, like it didn't used to be this way, but I've noticed there are a lot more people who, you know, maybe I followed on Twitter, just for like, I like the artwork or something, and then I follow them for like long enough time and they get picked up by an anime studio or they end up working on an anime project. I'm like, when did this start to happen? You know?
What did they do before Twitter?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine because I'm not in that side anymore.
Yeah. I'm curious, how much do you pay attention to like fan reaction in terms of like Studio Orange's works?
In that case, a lot.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm constantly on Twitter to look at responses.
Oh, sorry. So sorry you have to do that.
But I mean, positive or negative, it's all part of the responses that we need.
Right.
There's got to be one though. You're like, shut up. What are you? You don't know shit.
No, I mean, there's always a season 2, please. But
you're being too nice.
I can't say anything because it's not my position to say anything.
I'd be like, no, I got you. You're a piece of it.
I mean, I totally understand. Would love to have it, but I can't say anything.
It's like Beastars season 3 wins. Shut up.
No, I mean, I would love to talk about it, but not yet.
Yeah, right.
What is like? This is gonna sound so weird because it's Twitter, but what is some useful like responses you see on Twitter versus
Trick question.
versus like?
I don't really focus on individual responses. It's really the amount of energy.
Right.
Where's the energy? Where's the expectation as a whole?
Yeah.
Where is it going?
I think honestly we do the same thing. Like I don't read individual YouTube comments. I'm just like, what's the vibe?
Yeah.
The general comments, like
Yeah.
what people feel, you know, because you can kind of get the general kind of sentiment, which I find is more useful than just one guy who's maybe annoyed that you didn't draw Legoshi with a bigger bulge or something. You know what I mean? Like You know what I mean? Like, it's not helpful. Like getting the general, like you said, energy is so much more helpful.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Do you ever like incorporate that into what feedback goes into your future works, or is it more just to get the vibe of, okay, this show's doing well right now, people like it?
I mean, I think I really see anime as something really fantastic.
Yeah.
When I first discovered Perfect Blue, it was amazing. I didn't know anime could do this kind of sensation to me.
Yeah.
So I want to create that sensation to as much people as possible.
Oh, fuck yeah.
And this means that I want to create people to be communicating via anime.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you guys invited me for Trigun Stampede and having a conversation. This is what I wanted to do with anime. Yeah. So how can I do this with more people? Right. Is what I focus on. So using that, what I learned from how people are reacting, try to implement on the creative and the business side as well.
Now I have to watch it. Because some of you got to maybe watch anime.
Yeah. Because okay, I'm curious because there is something very specific about Trigun. Because I was almost planning to do a video on it and I didn't have the time, unfortunately. But it felt like
talk about it now.
No. Because my gauge as just a viewer going through comments and everything like that, a big complaint when the series was airing, at least not when it was finished, was people just like OG fans of the original Trigun being like, this isn't like the original Trigun. This feels totally different. Vash's design is so different.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And it seemed like reading from like some of the, I guess, interviews that the creative team had done before its release, it was almost like you were maybe expecting it in a way. Because I remember a big message was just like, hey, this isn't the original Trigun. Just leave your judgment until the series ends. Was that something that you expected, that kind of like reaction?
I mean, I got the same reaction as I told you earlier when I first looked at the show, the concept arts and stuff.
Oh, okay.
So based on that, I knew that, I mean, it's a precious thing to everyone.
Yeah.
So how can we make something precious and create another precious thing?
Right.
So it's not to overwrite that preciousness.
Yeah.
It's create something even more precious on the side of it.
Okay.
So we were very closely doing meetings with the promotion team, the marketing team for the Trigun. And we couldn't do it for global messaging, but for whatever we had hands-on, we tried to be very specific about what language to use, what words to use, what tone to use.
Okay.
So I know a lot of things were under wide interpretation, but we tried to make sure to limit that interpretation as much as possible.
So that you wouldn't like step on the toes of the original in a sense, right?
I was going to ask a question actually where you kind of just touched on it a little bit, was when you said the messaging between the global and Japanese audience. How do you normally kind of navigate the worldwide audience versus the Japanese market? Is there like, what kind of conscious differences or any slight changes do you do depending on the cultures?
That's really hard. I never really put it into words myself. I use my senses to really navigate.
Obviously you know, very unique background, being able to speak fluent English and Japanese. So you're probably a bit more in tune with both sides, whereas I imagine a lot in Japan, it's kind of like they're very much focused on Japan and we'll worry about the rest of the world. They'll get it when they get it.
I don't see race.
Like, you mentioned that you would read Twitter. Like, is this English Twitter or Japanese Twitter or both? Is there a big difference in vibe or response to Trigun?
I mean, first of all, Twitter culture between languages is different.
Yeah, of course.
So, I mean, depending on how fans enjoy it. So, are you a cosplayer? Are you a fan artist? I mean, just by that, people, how they enjoy is different. So, I really want to be careful about how I face each group of communities.
Yeah. What do you think is the biggest vibe difference between, let's say, the Japanese Twitter side of the response and the Western,
I mean,
like
Japan
international side?
As a culture, I mean, if you go to movie theaters, people don't clap at the movies. Where in America, where we clap at movies. I mean, even though there's not directors or anything.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed that movie. I want to clap.
Yeah, exactly.
But Japan, they enjoyed it, but they just quietly walk out. So that kind of culture is also reflected on Twitter. So not necessarily people like and retweet, but they won't comment. Right. So I really want people to comment because I see how more exact the reaction is. Instead of just that liking. How did you like it?
Yeah.
Is what really matters to me.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I wish they would comment less. I'm like, don't. You said that. Delete that. I'm kidding.
Be careful what you wish for.
I'm kidding.
It's like, go back.
Fuck around and find out. Yeah, because like I guess that is another thing I noticed as well is that like a very common like cinema trait in Japan as opposed to the West is that in Japan they stay until the end of the credits.
Oh my god, yeah. I'm always that awkward guy who's like, all right, I'm leaving. I'm not staying for this. I'm
but I guess that's like that also shows that like I guess like in general, maybe this is a stereotype, I don't know, but like I guess like the Japanese audience cares about like the people that like went into like working behind it. They're like, oh, okay, I love this show so much. I want to know who was responsible for it all. Whereas maybe in the West, of course, there are people who are interested in that, but maybe not. It's not the general consensus, perhaps.
There's a higher intensity, I think, from what I've seen.
What do you mean?
Good and bad.
Yeah, right.
When they love something, they love saying, and when they are unhappy about it, they, especially in the anonymous forums, they love love to complain.
2chain goes off.
Yeah. Because do you do a lot of like Japanese events at all in like terms of promotions? Because I know you go to like a lot of American conventions. You were at AX last year, right? Yeah. Do you do the same kind of like promotion on the Japanese side of things as well?
Yes, I'm responsible for all that. For Orange side. Okay. So we work with the production committee side to get that done.
I've always wondered when anime studios go to like an anime convention, is it purely just for promotion? Like what do they normally kind of like? What is the point
Strip
of it?
clubs.
And strip clubs. And strip clubs.
Research, actually. Thank you very much.
Is it like, because I'm always curious, because if you're a voice actor, so you go to it, you know, you can sign something, you make some money. But like, I assume for studios, there's got to be something else, because like, you know, conventions aren't that profitable, I imagine.
So for my objective is actually inspiration.
Oh, okay.
Because so for meeting their fans, I mean, Japan, there's not too many events that you can meet your fans.
That's true.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're a director, you might meet it. If you're a character designer, you might meet it. But if you're an animator, you might not meet your fans.
Right.
So I want people to more meet their fans. And who are they? Right. So where do they come from? Where are they going is the question I always ask too.
Yeah.
So are you from this area? Are you from other area? Did you travel to here?
Right.
Or, those kind of things really matter to inspire. Then also the culture. So by going to that location, I mean, feel that culture.
Yeah.
I mean, that really matters. Anime is a global medium. So it really matters that you get inspired by so many things.
Do you feel like there's been more of spotlight put on like the international audience in the time you've been working in the anime industry?
Yeah, a lot. I mean, the business has heavily skewed to the international audience.
Really?
So I wish more companies will focus a lot more on the global strategy.
Do you feel like that's only going to grow? Like the focus on the international side?
I feel like it has to.
Well, because I remember you did an interview at Cloverworks?
Yeah.
And the guy was like, I don't even know we had an international audience.
I think he was also joking.
Oh, was he really? Yeah. He was like, I don't know.
Yeah. In a rare display of Japanese facetiousness, he was actually just being facetious.
I've never heard a Japanese man be sarcastic.
Yeah. It was funny because
you got killed though.
Yeah. No, it was funny you say that because so many people in the comments of that video said the same thing.
Yeah,
they
I was
were
like, what the fuck?
They thought he was being 100% serious, but no, he was just joking. Yeah, like I think they're fully aware that yes, a big majority of their like audience is international, and like you know they're not going to necessarily like pertain to that audience 100%, obviously, right? Because you know domestic is first priority. But like I think at this point with how much anime has grown, I think it's pretty hard to avoid.
Well, yeah, there's always that conversation that goes on online about how people are like, no, they only make anime for Japan. They don't care about other countries and when they're making it. But I suppose if it's heavily skewed for a international market, then I mean that argument doesn't really hold any water.
Yeah, I think there's still like I don't know. You can confirm on this, but like I guess like they do care about the international audience, but I guess it's not like first priority for a lot of studios, right?
I mean, I think it's more that a lot of the workforce won't understand.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, they could say they understand. They could look at marketing data and say, "Oh, we understand it," but they don't understand because they're never from there.
Right.
It's me in America.
I spent decades on both sides. So I couldn't get the feel, but everyone just maybe have a tour to America for California, LA.
Yeah.
But
so I guess that's like a reason why you send these like staff to like LA and
be more experienced, more inspired.
I never thought about it.
Yeah.
See, I'm trying to get away from. I feel like I'm in America all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I need to stop listening to America. But I guess from a Japanese perspective, right, you wouldn't inherently get a lot of experience with foreign countries, and I suppose getting more in tune with the global world is, it's
extremely fresh.
So
right?
traveling, opens,
some people
opens the
might
mind.
not even travel on our team, so they
We
could
have a
just
lot of people in Japan
work
don't own
at home, work
passports.
from home.
Are they always like, are the Japanese staff members always shocked or surprised when they see like the international fan reaction when they go to a convention like Anime Expo, or you just went to SakuraCon as well, right?
So we just started sending people to, because of COVID we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
And I joined 5 years ago, so that's the goal I want to do. But now that we have Trigun Stampede, we're doing the tour. So director and my partner and producer was able to experience. So next month I'm taking my animators to another con.
Right.
So I want to keep on doing this to make sure that our team are more rich in experience.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's such a cool way of looking at it.
Yeah, very cool.
Other than just get back to animating. What are you doing?
I mean,
You don't get to see sunlight.
It's like, all right, we've taken you to the strip club, back to animating. Come on.
Are you telling me the secret to Studio Orange
if that's what they want, I might consider I'm not comfortable going there.
I'm just imagine a team of Japanese animators in like the dingiest, grossest strip club in like Ohio.
Okay. So in Vancouver, my director wanted to go to this street that's I'm like, I can't not walk in that street. I look like a tourist. I have my jacket by my side, backpack. I'm like, both my hands are tied up. I can't walk in that street. So I'm like, okay, give me a moment. I put my backpack on, zip it all up, and like put my pants. I'm like, okay, I'm ready.
I'm ready. Hands ready. I'm ready.
So you're saying the secret to Studio Orange is your staff members touch grass. That is
Holy shit.
Going outside is the secret this entire time.
God damn. Basement dwellers who are like hoping to join the anime community are like, no, not like this. This is not what I wanted.
I have to have a holistic worldview. No, this is not what I wanted.
I have to travel.
Where'd you take your staff members if you want to show them your like American international culture?
Exactly.
Where'd you take them? Where'd you take them?
I mean, every city is different. So I mean, I would love to take every single city.
What's your favorite city?
My favorite city? Well, I mean, I grew up in LA, so I was saying LA, but until I went to Seattle.
Oh, Seattle's sick.
I was so amazed at Seattle.
Do you want them to have like a quintessential American experience? You're like, let's go to the gun range. Let's go to Denny's, a real Denny's. Let's go to IHOP. Let's just go full American.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
If that is the culture shock experience for them, they should do that.
You just like see the calories. None here.
I mean, if it creates culture shock, they should go to Yoshihiro in America.
Oh,
it's totally different.
That's so bad.
Only time I say no is if they want to say I want to eat McDonald's. I mean, like McDonald's.
We do not go to
McDonald's. Is not that much of a culture shock. So go somewhere else.
It was a culture shock to my system. I think my body fought back when I had the McDonald's in America. I was like, this can't be it. Wow. How?
I just love to imagine Japanese people going to McDonald's in the US being like, wait, it's gross?
Actually, you know what the biggest culture shock in terms of like when I came to Japan was that the KFC didn't have gravy. I was like, that just doesn't seem right.
Yeah.
That feels like a fundamental mess up on the
And the coleslaw is not sweet.
Yeah. It's like lettuce and carrots. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? KFC in Japan doesn't have gravy. I feel like that's everything. That's like McDonald's not having buns. You know what I mean? It's like this is the core. Sorry, ignore me.
Makes sense.
No. I agree. I agree with
It's
everything
wrong.
you say.
It's
I
wrong.
agree. I agree. Which is rare for me in work. It's very rare. What are some of like the biggest culture shocks that your staff members have gone through?
I mean, going to that shady place was one thing last weekend.
That was last weekend.
I mean,
They just come back scarred.
I think one thing that a lot of Japanese people I spoke to when they've been to California is like the homelessness. They're always like, "Oh my god, it's like this is insane."
The Vancouver's part was really more than that.
Vancouver's pretty bad
I'm like,
too.
hey, there was a guy with butt naked right there.
Wait, where were you?
I mean, yesterday he was a bit mundane kid too.
Oh God, no! I think when I was there, it was too cold to do that. Extremities would have been frozen off if he did that.
I recognize those cheeks. It's the same guy.
It's the same butt naked guy every day. So when you since you're from LA, where do you normally take people to show them LA?
Oh,
Skid Row.
No,
Can't remember
In and
anymore.
Out. It's got to be right.
I mean, when I used to staff at Anime Expo, our radio turned on once, and like the one volunteer was Japanese. He wasn't from local.
Right.
He's like, I'm in a place called what do you call it? Compton.
No, that's
I'm like,
but that's in New York, right?
No, Compton is in California.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God, really? Why do I think it's in New York?
Compton. I mean, back then, I don't know how it is right now because I haven't been there. But don't stop that stoplight. It was the thing.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a Japanese guy in Compton? Oh my God.
It's like, you shouldn't be here.
You in the wrong neighborhood.
Wrong
man.
neighborhood.
Oh my God.
A long way from
I
Tokyo.
can't believe
It's
that.
unfortunate that I think now in LA, like Skid Row is right next to Little Tokyo, and so
Yeah.
it's like a lot of the time during the convention, people end up around that part. It's like, no, don't go there.
Yeah.
Make sure to get the Uber right away, and don't walk around too much.
And it's next to the art district as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Sandwich
very sketchy,
between.
very sketchy.
Yeah.
area.
I mean, Naito loves American toys, so we went to Frankensons. There's a place called Frankensons where all these toy sellers gather in a storage unit.
Right.
And it's
Oh.
like a small con right there.
Like
So-
a flea market type
Yeah,
of thing?
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I want to see Storage Wars Japan version now. Now that's on my mind. I just thought about that.
I mean, that won't happen because no one owns a storage unit
No,
here.
they do. There's loads of storage units in Japan, but I don't think they auction them off there when they.
Nah.
No,
They
people
just-
just
they-
keep
they just-
them, man.
Yeah, or they just demolish everything when they don't pay the bills or something.
Yes.
Like that.
Repo Man comes in, takes everything. Probably. Yeah.
So what's like the final goal of City Orange? What are you guys working towards in terms of your studio?
World domination.
Oh hell yeah, man! That's
go.
what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear.
You mentioned how a lot of the animators, initially wanted to get into gaming. Is there ever a potential we see Studio Orange game or something along those lines?
I mean, for Trigun, I definitely want to do some kind of game, and
Yeah.
we're talking
that
to a
would
couple
be
companies.
sick.
That
So
would be so
we'll see
sick.
what comes through.
That'd be so sick.
What about video game adaptations?
That's definitely something. I mean, one of the projects that we always talk about too.
Oh hell
So-
yeah!
Is there like one video game you really want to see being turned into an anime, regardless of if it's like done by Orange or not?
Yeah,
That you think would be like,
unless you're working on it now.
unless you're working on it now. It could be like a personal pick as well, but
It's been so long since I played a lot of video games.
I always say I want Doom to be turned into an anime somehow.
No, I don't want to work on Doom.
Yeah, because you know that
Doom is great as it is.
But I want it to be crazy, gut and bloods every. I don't know.
I think
That-
like
that-
I think like a Dark Souls could work. I mean, it's already inspired from the likes of Berserk anyway, right? So
Yeah.
it already has that kind of it passes the vibe check of potential anime.
Yeah,
I mean, when I always think about adapting anime, what kind of new values can I bring to
Right.
that community?
right.
So like my recent game, I was really gone into Elden Ring.
Oh,
I spent 300 hours in that world, just mesmerized by every single detail. I'm jumping against the walls.
these guys still haven't played it yet. Can you believe
You
that?
should. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I know.
I
You're
know
you're,
it's-
only, you're
I know.
only the 5,000th person who's told us that.
Everyone, Elden Ring is amazing. It's such a good
I'm
experience.
just not prepared to give up 2 weeks of my life.
It's not
Yeah.
2 weeks. It's 1 month. It's 1 month.
Oh, yeah.
It's 300 hours here. That's on the low end of Elden Ring.
You streamed it, okay?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You got your mileage out of that. I'm probably not going to stream it, so I'm
No.
like, it's a month
Listen,
out
no
of my
other
life.
game has allowed you to have the experience of like hearing operatic music with a giant sword slamming down on some monster and seeing it buckle. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Everything's so cool.
Do you think Guilty Gear would be a good anime, even though that's already kind of like anime-esque?
I mean, they make their own anime too, so
Yeah. I mean,
those are things I never imagined really.
right.
Adapting.
So you think that because it's so close to anime already, that there's no, let's say, value in getting like an anime adaptation?
No. I mean, it's more my own imagination. So
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
can imagine, there's a new value to that. So I just don't have that piece to consider. So if their team is like, oh, this will be amazing combination, then I'm like, I mean, like I could be amazed by that. So
yeah, I'm curious. Did you watch Arcane?
Yes.
What did you think of that as an industry, an industry veteran that works in 3D animation? Because watching Arcane, that blew my mind away in terms of what they were doing with their animation. Yeah. Like, do you think Studio Orange is or could get to that level?
So as of the creativeness of our CEO,
right,
we can, I believe.
Right.
But we are not ready to. That could be money or system or the amount of people we have. Yeah. We are not ready. But one day I'm going to get to that magnitude. Is definitely something I swore when I saw Arcane, because it's such amazing.
It's so good. Such a catchy song too. It's in my head all the time. Get out.
And season 2 I think got announced recently.
Yeah, season 2 got announced. In terms of like animation outside of like Japanese anime, is there any other shows or movies like Arcane that you guys get inspired by? Because I'm curious, because aside from Arcane, there was like Into the Spider-Verse recently, which was very, very impressive.
And then there's the upcoming Scott Pilgrim anime, right?
Yeah, and Puss in Boots 2, which I've heard
was so good.
Which I've heard was incredible. Do you guys ever draw reference from like American animation at all?
As a studio level, we not really. Individual level, definitely everyone's watching so many things.
Right.
Like for example, our CEO wants to, if even possible, he wants to do Tom and Jerry one day. So that's something completely different style from what we do right now.
Right.
But we see that if he's to do it, we are able to do something amazing.
Right. Because I think like one thing is like technology is always evolving, as we've as we've already discussed. And I was wondering how much you guys put focus in just the general technology of like what other studios are using and doing in terms of just the animation process in general. Or is it all kind of like in-house kind of thing?
I mean, a lot of the technology we develop is in-house. Whenever the technology is available on the market, we try to test it and see how we can implement as our own. Right. But in the sense, a lot of the advancement is done outside of Japan, so that's why we refer a lot to the other studios outside of Japan.
Right. Okay. Do you guys ever think you're going to do a mecha? I want to see Studio Orange tackle a mecha.
I mean, we came from a mecha, and our animators love mecha. So look forward to it.
Is there a single animator that doesn't like mecha? Yeah. I feel like that's the baseline criteria to be an animator. It's like, do you like giant robots fighting? You can be an animator.
Yeah, because you guys haven't. Sorry, go ahead.
We haven't had. I mean, Gundam's going on right now, but other mechas been absent for a while. So it's amazing to have a.
I mean, I feel like Gundam has always been like the strong IP that will go through the end of anime.
Yeah, it's kind of like the evergreen mecha, right?
Yeah,
where it's just like no matter what period, there's always going to be a fan base for it.
Yeah, exactly. No, I would love to see Studio Orange tackle a mecha. Hopefully in the future.
Well, I guess, do you have any final words from Studio Orange that you'd like to let the audience know or get them excited for?
Okay. I mean, definitely Trigun Stampede. We're working on the final phase now. What that entails will be revealed as we move on to more comfortable time to announce.
Right.
And right now we're working on Idolish 7, which is Idol anime. But this actually, even if you don't watch Idol anime, it's going to be something amazing.
Okay.
So,
I do not watch Idol anime.
Nor do I, yes.
But if it's made by Orange, I am awake.
Bro, you guys do something new every time. I don't think you've tackled the same type of show.
No.
But thank you very much for coming on.
Yes, thank you very much for having me.
A lot more perspective.
Yeah, we learned so much.
More importantly, on anime and how it's made.
You guys were my first podcast. So
let's go. Hell yeah.
Is there anything you want to shout out?
You have social media or
anything? Yeah, social media or anything like that?
Maybe the Orange Twitter?
Yeah, I mean, Orange and myself have a Twitter account. Orange is CG_. Orange underscore EN, I think.
We gotta remake that name. We gotta rework this.
Yeah. We'll leave it in the description. We'll leave it in the description. Don't worry.
But yeah, for myself, it's Crazy Nabe. So
Crazy Nabe.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Thank
Yeah,
you so much for
much.
coming on. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Yeah. Hey, look at all these patrons though. These are
Ooh.
all the people who support the show.
Yes.
Hopefully they're Orange supporters as well. And who's your favorite patron? Point to which one.
point somewhere on
You
screen.
see- They're on the screen right now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Look, you see all
this
them?
guy.
Oh, hell yeah. Lucky you. But hey, if you'd like to support the show, then go over to our Patreon, patreon.com/trashtaste. Also follow us on Twitter, send us some memes on the subreddit, and if you hate our face, listen to us on Spotify. And Nabe-san, thank you once again for
so much.
coming on the show.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.